Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk on another subject. What is a man? Right? There is so much confusion that a man has got three parts: a body and a soul and a spirit. But I beg to differ, and I want to clarify this based on what is written in the Bible. Right? Yes, people pick here and there to justify a case, but we need to go back to creation to find out what exactly happened. Right? Then it is from against this background that you are now able to find what salvation is. Salvation comes at a later stage, but what is it that had happened? How is the man made out, and how then salvation does it affect that particular person? There are some people that have written about the spirit man. I've seen videos, I've read books, and all of them, they seem to be confusing each other. Right? So what we want to do is we want to find out when God created man, what happened. Right? And let us go to Genesis 1 verse, we'll start from verse 26. Right? And God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. Right? I would like to stop here for just these two sentences. But in front of likeness, there is a colon. What does a colon mean in the Bible? A colon means a space of time. Right? And God said, let us make men in our own image, after our own likeness. Then he stopped there. Then there is a gap period, a space of time. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Right, we want to go back again. In our own image, after our likeness. Right? What does God look like? God is a spirit. Huh? If God is a spirit, no one has seen God. God is a spirit. Right? But if he is a spirit, which means he created a person in the same form, in his likeness, right? He did not create a body on this particular day. He only created a spirit. When I'm talking about a spirit, it's something that it cannot be seen, right, by our own naked eyes. And that is a man. A man is created as a spirit. And when I'm speaking about this spirit, I will clarify later on what I am trying to say based on the scriptures. So when he created, right, he gave what that particular person was supposed to do, to have dominion over the fish of the sea. All these things, they were created in the spirit form. I don't know whether you are with me. All right, let me go to number 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male or female, created them. They were created as spirits, not physical. They were created in the spirit. What is like God is the spiritual form, not the physical. It is the spiritual form. And let's go. And God blessed them and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Alright? And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. All these things were created in the spirit form. They were not created in the physical. When a bird is flying, it has got a spirit. A tree has got a spirit. A herb, they've got a spirit. So initially, all those things were made in the unseen situation, in the spirit form. That's how they were created. So after this part of creation, that's when now we did put bodies to what he had created. I don't know whether you're... The bodies were later on created to suit what he had created in the spirit form. So when we go back to the main issue, a man and a woman were created on Genesis 1, and they were in a spirit form. Right? We have seen they've been given dominion, and over, as a man was created, was given dominion over all these things in the spiritual form. Right? So a man is a spirit, right, that God can communicate with. All the faculties were created in the spirit form. Right? Which means our senses, our mind, all those faculties were created in the spirit form. It is the spirit that is able to do all those things. Right? For the sake of time, let me just quickly go on now to Genesis 2. Right? When we get to Genesis 2, we go on to 7. And the Lord formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. We see here that God formed a man, formed a body, right, out of the dust. Right? He did not form a woman, he only formed a man. And when he formed a man, right, then he breathed in his nostrils. What did he breathe into that particular body that was created? It was the spirit that he had created that went now into the formed object, making it a living soul. Right? So in essence, the spirit that he had created was a soul. The spirit that he had created was a soul. And when it was moved into an object that he had created, then it became alive. Alive in the sense that that body was now able to move from point A to point B. That body was now becoming active. It was moving. Right? But he had created the man as a spirit and is moved. It's like when you switch on a television, right? The moment you switch on a television, when power goes in, that's when the pictures start appearing. Then we say that television is now alive because it's now working, right? So that is the same scenario that happened here. And when we go to number 8, and the Lord planted the garden eastward in Eden, there he put a man who he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life, and also in the midst of garden. And we now find that which was created is now being planted into the physical. Even the birds, even the what, they were all later, initially they were created as in the spiritual form. When he created man, then when he formed the body and made a living soul, then he also made the garden to grow all the trees that he had spoken to earlier on. So Genesis 1 was just a creation in the spiritual form. And the Genesis 2 is now the physical form. Right? So a man is a soul.